Perfect. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm excited to welcome you to the next chapter, episode of Sisters on Fire IRL. We have a special guest, Korrie Corrin. She's going to explain all that she does and why she's a sister on fire. And we're going to talk about career. We're going to talk about, challenges of being a woman of color and all of that and so much more. So without further ado, Korrie, how are you?
I am great. How are you?
Good, good. So I'd love for you to share, your story. What do you do? How did you get started? All of that.
So by day, like currently I'm on lunch break. It might not look like it, but we have a snow day outside. By day, I work, I do IT work. But my passion has become more so, my blog. And I started my blog because I was writing a book called Who Does That? And so my blog is about, dating and cocktails and the ups and downs of dating, experiences that me, my friends, other people who write for the blog have had. And the blog came out of the book. So I decided I wanted to write a book 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was, 11 now. I started writing a book in grad school. It's going to be out in April.
Mm-hmm.
It's entitled Who Does That? But I started the blog just out of knowing I was going to soon have the book out
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to build an audience and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
that's really how I got started with the blog.
Okay, perfect. And what were you not seeing out there about like romance and relationships that really compelled you to want to start a new place and have people be able to join this conversation?
I wouldn't say it was something I wasn't seeing out there. I would say it's something that I know a lot of me and my friends, were experiencing together. So we would go on a date and it'd be like tragic, or we would have our woes, or it might be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Those are far and few and in between. But
yeah,
after we get together, we have cocktails, and we wouldn't more so than whine and complain about it. We would have a drink, and get back out there, have a kiki, and be like, girl, this cannot be real life. Let me tell you what happened this time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really
Gotcha.
what it's about. It's about like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's some foolery out here, but laugh at it and keep it moving.
Okay. And what were you and your friends experiencing the most? Was it like a disconnect in communication between men and women? Was it dating in outside of the race? And like what were the biggest issues or the pain points that you were really addressing?
Well, when you think of a course of 12 years or so, out just dating.
Yeah.
It's quite a few issues. So it could be inconsistencies. And when I say inconsistency, I mean like you might hear from a guy once, and then you might not hear from him for another week, and you're like, well, I thought, we were building something. Maybe I shouldn't have used once. Maybe I should have used 3 times. And then, you had a really great conversation, or you went on a date and you thought the date was really good. And then he might have ghosted for a week or two and then pop back up. And that, that really makes you wonder. I would definitely say cheating, dating people that, the other person knows. I wouldn't, definitely a lack of communication, but when you're just thinking about going on a date,
yeah,
sometimes the first date can just be, like I said, tomfoolery. I mean, I have a girlfriend who told me about a date that she went on, and the guy, she thought they were going to dinner, and he asked to go to just the liquor store and sit on his cousin's porch. And when she was like, no, and then he came to her, inebriated, and then hit 4 cars, which made her jump out the car and call her friend to get a ride home.
Oh, wow.
So when I talk about, I'm really talking about like, oh my God, let me tell you what just happened. When I say tomfoolery, I'm really saying, I mean it.
Oh, that's incredible. Wow. Okay. And the book, now tell us a little bit more about the book. When will it be available, and how does it differ from the blog then?
So the book are the actual experiences.
Okay.
So and it's called Lessons Learned. So this book is entitled "Who Does That?
Mhm.
Lessons Learned from an Epically Disastrous Dating Life," and
Mm.
all that Mama forgot to mention. So it kind of plays on growing up and being taught certain things by Mom, but Mom, you didn't tell me that this was gonna go down. Things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And it's the lessons that I learned outside of, the lessons that Mommy taught me
Mm.
through just experiences and living. So the book itself is actual experiences, whereas the blog is kind of what I've learned. It's other people's experiences. It's a community of, back and forth, so
Okay. Wow. Okay.
that's the biggest difference
Interesting.
between the blog and the book.
Now, do you, what I guess have been the most important lessons you've learned in your dating career so far? And what do women need to know? Like, you can't share everything, but like, what would be like the top 3 things that you wish you had learned before you started dating?
Well, the one thing I know my mom told me after, and then I do put this in the book, and I find it very interesting, is when somebody is really, 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 really hot in the beginning, and this is honestly in any relationship, any like friendships or whatever, if they're really, really hot really quickly, they can get cold just as fast.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah. So if somebody's calling and taking you out, or wanting to hang out with you all the time, or you seeing this person day in day out, and then boom, it's like a ball drops and then they're gone. So they're hot and then they're totally cold.
Mm.
And I remember her telling me that after one of my instances, and she was like, "Oh yeah, when they're hot, don't be surprised if you look up and it's now ice cold." So
Mm.
I was like, "Well, I wish you would have said that before for this situation." um, but so that's one of the lessons I definitely teach in the book. I do know that communication, especially as I've gotten older, communication is a huge part. I used to be one that was a little more shy, a little more meek and mild, not really speaking my mind. I thank God for growing up, and I thank God for wisdom, and I thank God for growing into oneself, because you really learn that no, you have to,
Yeah.
especially if you want to get the things that you want, or you want to be treated a certain way, or you want to be portrayed a certain way, you have to speak on it. I really used to be one of that bit my tongue. So yeah, that is a definite. And you get that in return, because a lot of, especially, well, I can say this to a lot of guys that I've encountered, they don't really like to talk, and so you hope that you get
Yeah.
that conversation, that communication in return. And I will say consistency is a huge one. And like consistency, it can be good or bad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the good consistency,
Yeah.
and not just in the beginning, but throughout a courtship, or
Mm-hmm.
if it moves into a relationship, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I would definitely. But then, of course, one has to have standards. One, don't let go of your standards.
Mm.
Don't settle for less. I definitely push that. That might be why I'm still single, but that's okay. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I would, I've been married. It'll be up to like 6 years this April, and I've been with my husband for 15 years. It'll be 15 years in September. Yeah, since we were
Awesome.
18. And for us,
Oh, that's great. That's a great love story.
Thank you. I mean, for us, the key, I mean, really, and it doesn't necessarily work for everyone. You have to decide what you want, but definitely honesty and transparency. We both come from, obsessive compulsive liars in our families, and when we met each other, we were like, no, we want better for ourselves. When you tell me you're going to work, it needs to be, I don't need to be clocking you, trying to figure out, looking where his phone is on the Google map. Is he there? Like, what you say is what you say. If you say you're there, you're
It's
there.
what you say.
Yeah, you know, none of this kind of like I need to check where you are and what's your heart rate and none of that craziness. So for sure that another thing is friendship. You know, we know too many people that don't like their spouses, and I think that, do you have to be best friends with your partner? No, we're best friends with each other, but ultimately I think friendship really dictates a beautiful marriage, because you know, what would it make you do? It makes you more considerate, right? Because you don't want to hurt your friend, much less your lover, your partner, right? So like,
Exactly.
just like really like having things that you like to do every single day, every single week, also listening to each other, right? I think so many people, you know, I'm a talker. I love to talk. But again, I can't forget to be like, hey, how are you? What did you do today? What was important to you? How do you feel about this? You know, like checking in with your spouse or your partner, I think is really going to be key as well. And then also, you know, just critical questions. I think when people are struggling to find someone that's a good match, it's because either they're not fully clear on who they are, or they're not fully clear on what they want, or sadly both. So
or both, or both.
Yeah. So and it also, you know, it's a challenging. I mean, I'd love for you to talk about that. How are people dating, right? Like, is it all like digital now? Is it this Tinder situation? Is it, you know, like how do you find the most successful kind of opportunities for people to meet now?
Well, I would say this. A couple of my closest friends have recently got married. When I say recently, I'm talking about the past 2, maybe 3 years. And most of them met their spouses while through somebody. You know, they had a mutual friend that connected them.
Okay.
So I'm finding that that's a great way to meet people, because you, for one, you have somebody there to vouch for that person. And then when you did mention online, do I know any? I don't. Okay, so I know a lot of people who date online. I do know a lot of people who date online. I don't know anybody who met their spouse online. I myself date online.
Okay.
Clearly I haven't met my spouse. So, but I think the climate and the culture, because of online, is it can make it a little harder, and it depends on the people who are on there. You can meet a fool in a grocery store, but you can definitely meet, it's like nuts online. But yeah, it depends. It depends on who's on there. I don't want to just say like online is horrible. No, because I actually had 2 great relationships. Guess what? Off of Tinder. They didn't last, but they were good relationships. So I will say that online, it has made the culture to where it's, you know, what else is out there? What else is out there? All I have to do is swipe again. And because I'm like, every app is like a swipe now, thanks to Tinder. Yeah, so it's like, you know, you're never really satisfied, because something you think you feel or you think something better is out there. I'm not saying that for myself. I'm saying that for, you know, just the culture in general.
Okay. And I'd love,
so that's probably makes it a struggle.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was just going to say, and then what are your thoughts, especially within our community, about, you know, some of the pain points that deal with like racism or colorism? You know, like there have been some recent kind of articles and things out there where people are like, you know, talking about, you know, the either the difficulty of Black women finding Black partners, or, you know, people going outside of the race. What has been your experience with that, or, you know, people in your community have written about it as well?
I will say I have dated outside of my race. Well, yeah, I've dated outside my race. And it's probably more so, honestly, due to online, because I'm usually not surrounded by people who don't look like me, and I'm not people, if I'm walking down the street, guys who don't look like us don't usually approach me either. So it's probably because of online. But as far as like, you know, saying it's a struggle for African American women, I remember that being a topic some years ago. Didn't really care for that, because it made us look, you know, like we were like all Pam on Martin. you know, and that wasn't like, no, that's not the case. That we're not all, you know, mean and bitter, and many
Yeah.
of us do want healthy relationships and successful relationships.
Hmm.
Um, the numbers, the statistics, I guess, I mean, you really can't really, you know, fight a statistic, but um, yeah, I just didn't like the picture it painted
Yeah.
of us
Yeah.
as African American women. It didn't paint a picture of a good picture of the Black family either.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
I have many friends who come
Yeah.
from, you know, two family homes who parents were totally in love. I used to teach, so I had students. Most of my students came from two family homes.
Nice.
That's a generation under us, and they all look like us. So,
Nice.
um, I would definitely say the Black family is still a very strong unit,
Hmm.
um, regardless of what we see and what we hear.
Hmm.
One thing I have noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed though, is that we see a lot of African American women, like, you know, like on commercials and whatnot, with not African American men. So I was like, oh, so this is this. I don't know if it's promoting it. I don't know if this is
Oh,
now
that's
the culture. I
interesting.
don't know what it
Yeah,
is.
I guess I have seen that. Yeah, maybe more notes now than before. Yeah, that's a good point. Ah, interesting.
Yeah, I picked up a Time magazine the other day, and it was there on the magazine. I was
Hmm.
like, oh, and the magazine was about love, and I was like, oh, that's okay. And not like I said, I've dated
Yeah.
outside my race, so it's not that I have an issue with it. It's just different to see it, you
Absolutely,
know.
absolutely.
So
Okay. And so,
yeah.
with the stereotypes, and I'm sure you've heard of it, the angry Black woman, and you mentioned kind of bitter, how has that, I guess, affected, do you think it affects us when we're trying to date as women of color, and do you have to combat it? Do you explain it? Do you address it? Has it come up?
It it had I'll say this in my experiences dating online, it has come up.
Mm,
And I remember one time a guy asked, I don't know how I was talking. I guess I might have had, a little, you know, umph in my voice. I might have been talking a little loudly. I don't know. But I remember he asked if I was going
mm,
to hit him, and I was like, what? I don't hit people.
mm.
um, yeah. So,
Interesting.
and I'm like, okay, you've known me for a certain amount of time, so you should know that I'm not gonna hit you. But only other reason I could think you would think something like that is because of images, you know,
Yep.
they've put out
Yep.
there about us for years or decades. So
Hmm.
I have, and I'm be very honest, it gets tiring trying to teach. But I
Mm.
guess if that's for you, or if it, because I'm not saying it's not for me, but I'm just saying it can get tiring. Like, oh, here's another thing I got to teach you about.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay. So now in your career, you mentioned you used to teach. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about how your career as both a writer, entrepreneur, blogger, and then things that you did as well as that, how it, in culmination, how it's been affected being a woman and then also being a person of color.
Oh gosh, I was a teacher at a very young age. I was teaching. Well, I say very young, but I mean in comparison, I'm was teaching at 30, 24, 23, 24, 25. I
Okay.
think like to 27. Um, it was a struggle in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I would say it was a struggle more so because I was a younger woman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but after getting over that hump, it became easier just because I looked like them
Mm-hmm.
and they were able to relate to me. Now, as far as outside of the classroom and being in different positions
Yeah.
in IT, we're all women.
Mm-hmm.
So I really haven't had issues as far as, race. Um, Everything has been a pretty even playing field. I would say this, definitely been blessed when it comes to the work culture that I'm in on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
Um, as an African American woman. So yeah, it hasn't affected me Mm-mm. But I will say this, my most rewarding experience was probably teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, because outside of, like I said, my day to day,
Mm-hmm.
I do the blog, but in addition to doing the blog, I also do videos. And prior to doing that, I was doing a theater program with
Mm.
students. And so a lot of those students assist me with everything that I'm doing now, whether it's production, whether it's acting. Many of them went to school to be actresses or actors, and went to school for production. Many of them went to school for public relations. So I've been able to get back into that experience of teaching
Mm-hmm.
and pull from it with the former students I had.
Perfect. Okay.
So
Well,
that was probably the best experience.
huh,
And because I look like them, I was able to relate so well.
that's good. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, I think that, what's so interesting is hearing from all these different women in the series and kind of understanding, how has being a woman or how has being a person of color affected your journey. Some women say it's been horrendous. And then some women are like, not so bad, and it's it's good to hear, because I think that it's important for us to be talking about that and to be real and transparent about it, and that at least in your case you haven't experienced overt racism or sexism, but maybe ageism has been
Not in the
more.
workplace.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely ageism. Definitely
Mm-hmm.
ageism. Teachers didn't, colleagues didn't too much care for me because I was young. Looked like the kids, but the kids
Yeah.
gravitated to me because I was young and looked like the kids.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
it was a catch-22.
And just out of curiosity, how did you handle the ageism then? Like, what were tools and techniques you used to kind of make sure that your voice was heard and that you were taken with a level of respect and seriousness?
Well, back then I was younger, so
Mm-hmm.
I told you I kind of never really liked to rock the boat. So I just stayed quiet and stayed in my
Mm,
room until I stopped teaching.
gotcha. Oh, you didn't really necessarily confront it as much as you could have.
Not at all.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
If someone was dealing with that right now, what advice would you have for them?
I would definitely say to, um, you know what you give, and you know the work you put in. Um, I was never even really in meetings with my colleagues because I was running after school activities. But you could either, like, for me, I'm like, it doesn't affect my paycheck. It didn't affect, how my teaching style. It didn't affect, as long as you're not putting me down in front of students. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
where I would say cut the line, draw the line,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to pretty much stand up for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you don't want your students to lose respect.
Gotcha.
That's the important thing, because then they're never going to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then the classroom is theirs. So that's the important thing. You don't want, and there would be times where kids would tell me, "Oh, Miss So-and-so said something." That's, why would you say that in front of a child? But
Yeah.
back then, today I would have confronted that. Back then I didn't.
Mm. Gotcha. Okay.
Catch that.
Yeah.
My phone rang. I'm sorry. Okay.
That's okay.
Okay.
So I'd love, to kind of shift gears a little bit and tell you a little bit more about Sisters on Fire. So first, this whole thing, this movement, rather started as a play about 10 years ago called Diary of a Mad Black Feminist. And it's, been since turned into Sisters on Fire. And we have our upcoming production at the East Village Playhouse from February 22nd to March 17th. I'm super excited on Friday to, see the first show at 7 o'clock. But in addition to that, we started an online component, which has been kind of my birthing of this part of the movement, where I wanted to really highlight women who are just badass in a multitude of arenas and industries, right? So I've spoken with coaches and educators and news folk and just all sorts of disciplines. And so when you hear the term Sistas on Fire, what does that mean to you?
It's the everyday sister, but it's the sisters out there doing, it could be a sister in corporate America, it could be a sister at college, it could be a sister who,
Yes.
is an at-home mother, but doing her day-to-day, diligence of, what she does and doing it well, as women, especially women who look like us, women of color, we have to wear multiple faces.
Yeah.
So, wearing those faces and wearing them well, day in, day out,
Yeah.
We have a face when we get up, we have a face when we lay down, and and just doing everything that it encompasses.
Absolutely.
So,
and
like I said, and doing it well.
Yes, absolutely. Doing it well. Yes, yes, yes. That's like from a song, no? LL? Doing it and doing it and doing it.
It might be.
I don't know. Maybe.
It is. That's not a good song.
Shout out to LL.
It is. Had to think about it.
Yes. Yes.
It's actually called Doing It.
Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. So in your life, who were Sisters on Fire for you?
It was definitely, because I was raised around a multitude of women. So it was my mother, my aunt, my grandmother, which name Korrie comes from. And then if I'm just thinking about women that are in the media, who doesn't love Claire Huxtable? Who doesn't love Felicia Rashad? Yeah. I just finished watching her, by the way, on This Is Us.
Yes.
That's like at the top of my mind.
Yes.
But your Michelle Obamas, of course, who wouldn't say that? But definitely, if I'm thinking about the women who are the most tangible, and I keep a picture of the three of them on my desk, my mother, my grandmother, my aunt, they showed me what womanhood is. My grandma, she was a stay-at-home mother, but she was very, 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 into making sure, well, me as her grandkids, us as her grandkids, were well taken care of, knew the Bible, fed. Like, she just really, 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 really cared for us. And then gave great advice.
Yeah.
And then, my mother and my aunt, they worked their tails off. My mom is still working. She told me she's gonna work till the day she dies, because she enjoys it. And I'm like, okay, bye.
Shout out to Mom. Wow.
I'm like, who wants to do that? But she raised me and my brother on her own, and it never dropped the ball, and it's still out there. So
beautiful.
Yeah, only day she gets off are days like today, like when it's snowing, because she's a teacher.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Oh, that's sweet. She's a teacher, and then you were a teacher. Oh, that's sweet. Were you?
So was my grandmother. So was my aunt.
Oh, wow. So a history of education. Beautiful. Okay. Now, I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about your blog. Where can people go? I shared the link, but what are some of the content that they're going to see when they tune in? What are some upcoming announcements and things in addition to the book? How can people champion you?
So the blog is www.lovetails, Tails, like cocktails, lovetails, KC, as far as other things like the YouTube, we just started a YouTube component. And it's really reenactment is what it is. Those reenactments dates that I mentioned on the blog. So we have the third one coming up. We finished filming Friday or Saturday. And so now I just have to sit and do the editing, and hopefully it'll be out within the next 2 weeks, depending on how long I take to edit. And so between the YouTube page, which is under Korrie Corrin, if you go there, you'll just see reenactments. You might get some cocktail recipes, but you also get cocktail recipes on the blog.
Gotcha. Sharing that.
You can also find the videos on the blog too.
Okay.
And then there's, like you said, the book, Who Does That, is out April 17th.
April 17th. Nice.
Yep, I'm doing pre-sales. You can do pre-sales. I mean, if you're interested, there are pre-sales on the blog. On Lovetails. So those are that's the video and the book are the major components.
Perfect.
For 2019.
Okay. So now you're acting in the, or you're producer, or you're doing both in the reenactments?
I produce. Actually, one of my students plays me. And I play, depending on the reenactment itself, I play like one time I was a waiter, one time I was a co-worker. This time I'm just a friend.
Okay.
So I put myself in little parts, but like Spike Lee, that's what they
love it.
That's what they call me when they see me in it. They try to be funny, but Yeah. But yeah, so I'm in it just little moments.
Perfect.
I just have like a moment here and there.
Okay.
Yeah, but I get other people to play me.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess for 2019, what words of wisdom do you have for those women who are looking for love, things that you would have to apply for yourself as well, right? What would you say? What should people be definitely doing if they didn't do in 2018? How are they going to make the difference this year?
Just be patient.
Mm,
You know, it will if it's something, if it's a desire of your heart, it will come.
hmm
I'm a firm believer in that.
Yeah.
You just have to be patient. Sometimes, honestly, we have to get out of our own way. That's what I've learned.
Mm,
Um, so yeah, just you might need to take a couple of seats and
mm.
just wait.
Okay.
Enjoy life. Enjoy life. Don't just sit on your couch because nothing's going to come to you sitting on the couch eating bonbons. But get out there, enjoy life,
Yeah.
and life will come.
Absolutely. Yeah. To add to
So,
that, everyone who's looking for love, I would say, I met my husband because I went up to him and I didn't know how to Mac. I was
yay!
terrible at it. I was awful.
I would have been so scared
Because
to do that.
I'm a huge nerd. So I'm like, hi, how are you? It was awful. It was hideous. But what I will say is like anything else in life, you have to be hungry enough for it. So yes, you have to be patient and you can't
Hmm.
rush anything. But if you see someone you want to talk to them, right? It's the same approach as you get when you're looking for a new job, looking to move. You don't just sit there like you're saying and just, oh, it's just going to happen. Nope.
That's true.
You got to get out
Hmm.
there, introduce yourself. And also, I would say, don't be afraid to try new things in the sense of like, maybe you haven't gone to networking events enough this year. Maybe you should, right? You never know what's going to come from things. So try to put
You
yourself
never
out
know.
there. And as you're growing and expanding who you are and what you're doing in this world, you will start to attract different people in your life. And that might be a romantic relationship that might sprout from that. So
Possibly.
yeah, like put yourself out there, do new things. If you wanted to paint, go and paint this year. If you wanted, like do things that you love, and it tells the universe, it signals to the universe that like, oh, she's on top of it. She's caring for herself. So we're going to send her prosperity. We're going to, so I think people definitely need to think about that and just be bold and just, do you.
Definitely be bold. Yeah,
Absolutely. Awesome.
definitely.
Well, Korrie, this has been so much fun. Again, thank you for being a Sister on Fire. Thank you for being a part of this
Thank
series.
you.
Absolutely. And I look forward to, champion you and helping spread the word about the book. Congratulations. That'll be your first book, your
Awesome.
debut, right?
Be my debut.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Very exciting. So yes,
Thank
keep
you.
at it. And everyone watching, if you have any additional comments or thoughts, put it in the comment section and me and Korrie can come in and respond. All right. So thank you and just enjoy the rest of your day. Okay.
Thank you. You do the same.
Thanks. Bye.